Welcome to this episode of Lise is Live. I am Lise, and I am here today to talk about something that's kind of relevant to the time we are in. Right now, we live in a hyper state, I say, a hyper state of gentrification, urban colonization that is forcing a lot of long-time residents, black residents, residents of color, poor residents, out of long established neighborhoods that they've lived in for at least the past 50 years. Some families have been in the area for, longer than that. But it raises this question about migration. And right now, especially right now, there's this big political scene about immigration to the country, specifically from the southern border. But there's also a lot of migration going on within the country. And I think about historically black people, for instance. There was a great migration in the years between 1930 and 1970 where a lot of black people moved out of the South and moved up north or out west to cities like Oakland, Los Angeles, Detroit, other places. And they were chasing this kind of middle-class dream of being able to have secure housing and a career, some kind of career that you could work for a while and that had a good pension and something you can retire and so you can buy this home and live in this neighborhood and so forth and so on. So a lot of our grandparents, did that and had that. And a lot of us, or a lot of people my age, remember having that grandparent or that family member that, did that kind of situation. And, right now, that I don't think in 2008 is really possible, at least here in this city of Oakland. So it makes you kind of think about what either moving somewhere else so you can attain something, or even just challenging that idea that you're going to work to live and all this kind of shit. Whatever you decide, clearly right now is a good time to consider your options. And so an option that I have right now is to move out of the country. And I want to teach English abroad. I don't have a good degree, and this program that I was very interested in, and I'm still kind of interested in the country that I wanted to teach in, they're kind of going through a civil unrest. And I feel like everywhere in the world right now, there's some kind of political turmoil that the working class citizens of that country are fed up with the corporate political games that politicians play. And so that seems to be at play around the world. So when you think about people even coming here from other places, like trying to immigrate here, it's like, not to say that America isn't, doesn't have all these opportunities and shit for people, but I'm a person that's from America that's telling, you right now that this is not the ideal situation, at least for me and my sustainability. And I think that's another thing too. We're all so caught up in like making a lot of money so we can afford to live in these places. But I'm more of the mindset where I'm trying to challenge the idea that we have these systems set in place. Systems like capitalism, systems like prison industrial complex, things that kind of further along this political system that's ran by corporate interest. And so now, bringing it back down to earth, I'm faced with the choice of where to go next or where to move to next. I've thought about moving out of California. I thought about moving to Las Vegas, which a lot of black people from this area are doing, including some family that I have. I already have family in that area. It would be nice to kind of relocate and, find somewhere that's that you can make enough money to live. But I fear that the same thing will happen, in that area. That happens in this area. That happens in a lot of areas. That onslaught of gentrification and the rising cost of housing without the rising cost of wages. So everything I feel like that is everything that's challenging right now, I'm starting to see as this apparatus of capitalism, not just at work, but literally it's come to your fucking door. Like it's kicked you out of, matter of fact, it kicked you out of your fucking family home. So it has a lot of people living on the streets. And as I walk to this job, that I have, or I commute to my job, I see the remnants of the system, and it makes me not want to, or it's less motivating to try to carve my space out in it versus just destroying it on its head. So I just wanted to talk about that, or just bring that up, because I do. I see it. I see a lot of migration going on. I see a lot of people considering moving from where they're from, or, I see a lot of people moving from where they're from. And I want to ask, I guess, anybody, what is your motivation for either moving from where you're from or even staying from where you are? There are a lot of people here from Oakland that are, of course, diehard Oakland people, but they also feel like this is their home and they have the right to stay here and to be here. And I respect that, I really do. I have family who own property here, who are not, trying to leave. I have family that are trying to buy property here. So no one is like, trying to abandon it per se, but I do feel like for people like me, where I'm barely holding on to being a middle class person, I can't really afford to put any roots down here. I can't afford to live on my own shit here. So it would only help me to find somewhere else that I could find some kind of stability or some kind of breathing space, at least until I figure out what to do next. And I'm eager to see or hear from you guys and see what you are kind of going through, if you're kind of going through a similar situation, or people that are. Thank you for watching this video. Awesome.